Before I start properly recording, I want you guys to know this little minx is the reason why I've got cat hair all over me. Alright? Son of a bitch! Cheers, Peg! Hello, thank you very much for clicking on this video. I do appreciate it. As always, I'm going to try and get through this video without any cuts. So if you see some cuts, it hasn't worked. So, I have seen Man on the Run now. I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. I do think it's for an audience that is sort of unaware of McCartney's story anyway, but it was still enjoyable. And there was a bit of me that wondered, what if the Beatles anthology was done in the same style as Man on the Run? I think it would have been better. No, I, there's a lot of information to pack into the anthology, I'll admit, but I just meant the style, and it was really directed well. I thought it was really done well, very stylish. When I first watched it, I thought, well, what was the arc of the actual movie? And does a documentary need an arc? But I think the arc was about him growing up. He said he wanted to grow up, and it's mentioned at the beginning of the movie, and then it's mentioned at the end of the movie that he has indeed grown up. That's not a spoiler, really. There's obviously plenty of McCartney songs littered throughout the entire. It's more music than speech. Uh, but it's all used really well, especially towards the end. I'm a big fan of Back to the Egg, and they used a lot of Back to the Egg music towards the end there. Although they don't even really touch upon the albums. They obviously touch upon Band on the Run, but some albums were just kind of, here's a picture and then skipped over. Like they don't mention wildlife. They just go, we did that. I should have written down what I was going to say. There's many cuts in this video, as you could probably already tell. So another thing I just thought of was I really liked that it spent time on Linda and where she came from. I really liked that. Who is this woman? And then it shows us who this woman is. I also really liked they answered the question, like, what's she doing in the band? And I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing, but it's because they loved each other. That's why she was in the band. And you can't say nothing to that. You kind of go, oh, okay, that's nice. I write music, and my missus told me that she used to play the bass. So I said, "Hey, why don't you play bass on my stuff?" Because I love her, and I'd love her to be part of that particular world of mine. She said no. She refused. It's not true love, obviously. The movie's also humorous in parts. There's Paul McCartney being asked, when did he discover that Linda could sing, and he says, our wedding night. And the other, and I'm not going to give away the punchline on this, just because I lolled, as the kids say, I lolled. I laughed out loud at Mike McCartney's response after him saying how stupid the whole Paul is dead thing is. Mike McCartney's response to being asked when was the last time you saw Paul, I I thought it was hilarious. I've watched it twice and I laughed both times because it's just so funny. Even in this documentary, they're still what's the word? Perpetrating. Sounds like that could be the right word. McCartney is still saying that in Lagos he had his tapes mugged off him, stolen off him, and then they went into the studio and he had to basically record the album from memory. That's the story that's out there. In this particular film, he said, I keep saying film and then movie, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm English, we say film, but for you Americans, I'm saying movie. You are welcome. But he's saying in this movie that he was mugged, went back to the studio. they all said you're lucky you weren't killed, and then he says something like, "Oh, I am lucky. Let's record an album," something like that. I'm paraphrasing as usual. But we know from the McCartney Legacy book, this is not true. Most of the album was recorded. It was practically finished, apart from the overdubs which were done later in England. I think. I'm not a historian, guys, but we know that that story is not true. He was mugged. He didn't record the album from memory. That bit's, but it makes a good story, doesn't it? So hey, let him have it. He's in his 80s now, but he's been bullshitting for about 40 years. There's tons of footage that I'd not seen before. There's loads of like stuff with his family. It really does touch upon how family oriented McCartney and Linda were. Um, it was good to hear from old members of Wings as well. They don't say much, but when they do, like I was quite surprised to hear. I think it was Denny Sywell saying that they weren't paid much. Paraphrasing again, but they weren't paid much, and that's why they left. I would say to anyone that is watching this thinking, "Oh, I'll watch that rather than read the book," or "I'll watch that and then I'll read the Man on the Run book." Don't read the Man on the Run book. This is, history that Paul McCartney wants you to know. I would say the best thing to do is watch Man on the Run and then sort of get more of the truth from the McCartney Legacy books, because they're really good books. Even though McCartney touches on it a little bit in this documentary movie film, um, yeah, you get more of a sense of how much of a bastard he is in the McCartney Legacy books. Him saying in this movie, for instance, I wasn't in accounts. This was in response to them saying they weren't paid much, that he wasn't in the accounts department or whatever. He knew what was going on. He's over everything. One thing I do find weird is that. Oh, hey, it's editing Paul here. I did forget to mention another thing that I found weird. So before I tell you the first thing I found weird, I'm going to put it in right now. Do you remember this TV bit from the movie? And next to him is a picture of the Beatles. Well, is it the Beatles? Who the hell are these guys? That'd be upscaling at its finest. Why did that make the movie? I would have left it out. Anyway, back to the first thing I found weird. In this documentary, he says that sometimes he's not cool, sometimes he makes mistakes, and that's great to hear from him because he's not been always great. But when he's talking about that particular bit, they show you the scenes from the James Paul McCartney special. In particular, Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance. And the reason why I find it weird, they also show Mary Had a Little Lamb as well. Jesus. But the reason why I find it weird is because the version of Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance that's on the soundtrack to the album is of worse quality than the movie. Or am I hearing it wrong? You guys, let me know in the comments. Did the film sound better than what's on the album for Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance? Because I think it does. So the movie also mentioned Lennon quite a lot, which is fine because I guess he was always part of McCartney's life. Even to this day, Lennon is still part of McCartney's life if you really think about it. Um, but they had their whole tussle in the 70s. Tussle, that's not a word you hear often, is it? Tussle. There you go. I said it 3 times now. But even though that Lennon was like basically throughout this movie, I did find it weird that Sean Ono Lennon was in this movie. I found that weird. Anybody else kind of go, "Oh, what's he doing here?" I mean, he was a child. I don't know. I don't know why I found it weird. I just, when he started talking, my first initial reaction was, "What? Why are you here? What?" Did anybody else think like that, or is it just me? It's just me. Okay. Let me know in the comments if you did as well, though. Yeah. all the McCartney voiceovers were, taken from many, many sources. One of the sources, and I recently mentioned this to good friend Beatley Tone, good friend, was I'm only telling you this because he wasn't aware, and I'm making you guys aware. So the lyrics book, there is a podcast of the lyrics book, and basically the author of that book just recorded McCartney talking about all of his songs, and they made a podcast out of it. So if you're unaware of it, go check that out. It's such a good podcast. Just noticed in this video, I keep looking to the side, and you'd think, oh, he's looking at his screen, but I'm not. The phone's backwards. So I just keep looking at the Apple logo. I don't know why. I apologise. I'm looking at you now. I'm looking at you now. And that's about it. What did you guys think of the movie? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments. Did you like the Mike McCartney joke? Did you find it as hilarious as I did? Let me know in the comments. Please do share, like and subscribe. If you haven't already, do subscribe. I'm getting close to 3,000. I promise you I will quit YouTube at 3,000. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, whatever that may be. Oh, I think I know Heart of the Country. I think I know it. I think I know it.